Hello everybody, another video. Keeping the challenge going. I'm doing so good. I'm so happy. I thought this was gonna be harder, but I actually enjoy this. It's very hard, but I'm enjoying having to push myself to get in front of the camera and talk about something every day. So today that's kind of what I want to talk about. I read an amazing book which I recommend to everyone. It's called The War of Art. Not the art of war, the war of art. The author is Pressfield. I don't remember his name. And in this book talks about what the author considers to be the difference between a professional artist and an amateur artist. And basically, he says that the difference is that the professional artist shows up to work consistently and delivers work consistently. And the amateur artist is the one that is waiting for inspiration, or if things are not right, then he doesn't do his work, his art. He pushes it for another day, or ends up wasting time creating excuses and that sort of stuff. He talks about how he says there's two forces in our brain. So you have your genius, or that thing that inspires you to create work, but you also have what he calls the resistance. And it's that part of your brain that tries not to do the work and creates excuses, and those excuses come in different shapes and forms. Some people they get very hung up on the quality of the work, so they become very perfectionists. So nothing that they do is good enough, so they never end up finishing anything, and they don't put the work out into the world, or as the author he calls it ship. And there's also another great book. It's called The Linchpin by Seth Godin. Seth Godin worked with the author from The World of Art as well, and they talk very similar stuff in these two books. I recommend them both. They're really great. And Seth Godin especially puts a lot of emphasis in that professional artist ship, right? So, and they don't ship when the work is perfect, they ship when the work is good enough. And they basically, he says that in order to be a professional artist, you should work backwards. So you have your shipping date, and then you need to work so that by that date you have something to ship. Even if it's not completely finished, completely perfect, you need to ship. And by shipping, you become better at the whole process, and then you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again. So today I was finding a lot of hard time. I was having a hard time coming up with something to talk, something that I hadn't said before. And I was like, oh no, like I was drawing a blank, and then I thought, no, this is the resistance trying to make me not do the work and ship. So here I said, what a great opportunity to talk about the resistance a bit. I've experienced this a lot. Over a few years ago, I started fighting it heavily, and I'm very happy that now I'm able to finish most of the projects I start. I have no problem posting them, shipping. That makes me really happy, and I think it helped me to improve a lot more. You know, living as a busker means that I have to perform music to the public pretty much every day. So that helps a lot in confronting, fear, the public, all that stuff on a daily basis. So that always keeps me well trained. Uh, Makes me have less fear, anxiety, doubt. But yeah, I see a lot of people, that a lot of my friends, especially they get very, how do you say, yeah, perfectionist. It's probably the most common one, I think. People say, oh, it's not good enough, let me tweak this a little bit, fix this, fix that. The other one is people that, they don't want to start posting on social media until they have their Facebook page, and when they have their Facebook pages, say, oh, I should also have a website. If I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this right. And then, oh, I should have the Twitter page, and then they spend days looking for the perfect profile picture and this and that. And while they're doing that, time moves on, the world keeps moving, and every time you wait a little bit, it gets harder and harder. So it doesn't get easier. Yeah, it's very hard to overcome resistance. A lot of writers describe it as the writer's block. They sit in front of a blank page and they don't know how to start. I have so many musicians friends that they don't want to create their own music. Because they don't want to confront, the resistance. So all they end up doing is just playing the music in the music sheet, and they never end up expressing their own voice, their own thing into the world. What I do in my case is, well, try to write music consistently. Probably writing my own songs is something I'm not doing enough. But I do, in my basking sessions, I do have a little bit that I reserve specifically for improvising on the spot, and I always do it at least once a day. And I know that sometimes it sounds terrible, sometimes it's not good, but I also know that if I keep doing it, in a couple of years, it's gonna be better. So that's trying to play the long game, and sometimes it's not good in the short term, but I'm all about the long game. I think the best way to overcome the resistance, I think a bad job is way better than no job. Regarding to, say you're a writer and you don't know what to write, or you're writing and it doesn't feel right. I think in my book, the way I see things, writing something badly is 1,000 times better than writing nothing. Drawing something that looks ugly, or it's not at all what you were going for, is way better than drawing nothing. Playing notes together that don't match and they sound awful is better than doing nothing. And the problem with the resistance is that if you listen to it, you do nothing. And if you do nothing, nothing changes. And if you do bad work, if you do bad stuff that's not good, at least you're using your muscles, and if you keep doing it, eventually something good might turn up. It might. If you do nothing, then nothing will happen. And I have to say, before starting playing music and before starting drawing, I used to write. That was the first artistic endeavor I was drawn into. And I used to have that thing where I wouldn't write if I didn't feel inspired. Until one day I started rereading my old stuff, and I couldn't tell the difference of the stuff that I wrote when I felt inspired and the stuff that I wrote when I was forcing myself to write and I didn't feel inspiring, and I thought at the time when I was writing it, I thought it was horrible. And then I read and I couldn't tell when I was inspired and when I wasn't. So I think it's just that feeling that you have, that when you feel uncomfortable, it's very easy to just quit there, so you don't get to stop feeling that feeling. But the difference between the professional artist and the professional artist is, the professional just keeps going and doesn't care, and by the end of the day, when it's shipping time, has something to ship. And in my book, 1 always beats 0. Meaning, if you have something by the end of the day, even if it's bad, you'll always win against the guy that has nothing. And it saddens me how so many people choose to do nothing instead of doing something that only scores 1 point. I don't know. I think that's one of the stuff that is my advantage in the world of art. So I don't think I have many advantages, because I don't think my drawings are great looking. I don't think my stories are super, developed and entertaining. I love them because I just love everything I do. But if I had to look at them objectively, there's a lot of things to improve. My music has a lot to improve, like so much. But I think I do make and ship more than most people, and that's my advantage. I'm not afraid of doing that. So I'm playing to my advantages, and I'm trying to make as much stuff as I can, and keep posting and keep shipping. Even these types of video, it's that's all I'm doing. And hopefully, if I continue, who knows? I already said previously that I'm already way far past everything I expected, so who knows what could happen. I'm excited. The future is pretty exciting right now. So, checking the timer, this is my longest video yet. Huh. Well, it's probably a good time to call it a day, get some sleep, start early tomorrow. Yeah. Have a great night. or day or whatever it is when you're watching this.